Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Coming in today here in Nova Scotia, it's afternoon. I want to talk a little bit today about affirmations. I also want to talk a little bit about staying in your center, especially right now if you're in Nova Scotia. Just reading a lot of posts on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm sensing and feeling a lot of fear coming off people as we come into another set of restrictions around COVID-19. So first I want to talk about affirmations, because you hear a lot about some people saying that affirmations work, some people saying they don't work. And it's been my experience that affirmations on their own, of course, they don't work. Affirmations, what is an affirmation? Affirmation for me is stating something. Maybe it's stating something you're working on, something you feel, something that you want to accomplish. So for me, in my grief journey, I refer to that part because for me, at some point or another, I get really sick and tired of feeling so emotionally, physically exhausted every single day, and feeling like there's no way I could manage another 20, 30, 40, whatever, however many years I have left on this earth, and living in that type of pain every day. So I had to kind of make a decision. So I had to choose, and making a choice is a big step. And sometimes we have to kind of scale back and kind of reverse the big picture. So when we look at what does healing look like for me, and we look at the end result of what we want, and then we feel like, oh, there's way too many steps to get there, so how am I ever going to feel that way? So that's what I mean by reversing it, and then making a choice and making small decisions first lead to the bigger things. So we don't have to know all the answers, we don't have to know all the steps to get there, but we do have to make a choice. So that's step one. And affirmations comes in here because I decided, okay, I don't want to feel this big darkness for the rest of my life. Even though I feel justified in feeling that, I don't want to feel that anymore. So what is a word that I could come up with, an affirmation? So to me, affirmation is an active word. So for me, it was, I'm healing, right? So it's active. It's not, I want to heal, I hope to heal, maybe someday I'll heal. It's an active, it's happening right now, and you have to believe it. So if someone was to say to you, oh, just look in the mirror and tell yourself, I love you every day. If you don't believe it, that's not the right affirmation to pick. If you looked in the mirror and stated, I am doing my best every day to love myself, and you're actually taking those steps towards that, you're on the right track. So it's really important to kind of be active tense affirmations, something you believe or that you're working towards. And it also has to be something you're taking the steps towards. So you can't just say it and then sit back and wait for it to happen. So when you plant a seed, an intention, an affirmation, I am healing, look for something during that day. Look for something that tells you you're on the right path, that tells you, oh, this is part of my healing. I'm going towards that. And maybe that's just sitting with yourself and allowing some uncomfortable things to come up and stay present, right? That's an act of healing. Sometimes these things don't feel so comfortable. But if we wake up every day and do the same things that we did yesterday, last month, last year, and expect changes, it's just not going to happen. So we actually have to take the action steps, and they don't have to be these huge life-changing steps, but we have to do something different. step by step by step. That's why I feel affirmations, and you can just pick one word and work with it. One short phrase, something that's 3 words long, 4 words long. Work with it. You can work with it for months. So for me, healing, I am healing. It wasn't like it was years. I'm still healing. I'll always be healing. But where I am today and where I was 7 years ago is a huge transformation. And for me, along the way somewhere, I had to decide that and it wasn't in the beginning, because again, I was just looking for moments of feeling some healing, moments of something showing up on my day to show me I'm going in that direction. And because I'm a very spiritual person, and I really believe that there's something way bigger than us, there's something, our essence, our soul is bigger than any human condition. I trust that. I trust that it's going to bring me to where I need to go. So one of my mantras every day, which is different than an affirmation, is if something's not for me, please move it out of my way. And I have to be prepared for what that is, because sometimes we want to hold on to things that aren't meant to stay. They're not meant for us to stay in that relationship or friendship or job or whatever it is we're doing. So we have to be careful, as my mother always said, be careful what you wish for, it might come true. But I do want universe, source, my soul, to move things out of my way that are not meant to stay. Otherwise, I'm going to hold on to it longer than I need to, which causes more suffering and drags out the process of being in alignment with your essence, your soul, your energy. So if something's draining you and you're not feeling inspired by that person, that situation, it's time to sit back and say, what's going on here for me, for the situation? So affirmations, words, so important. And when another important topic to bring up here, when we're so busy caught up in our mind and we're kind of spiraling and we're thinking, and sometimes we don't even know that we're caught up in our mind because it's so programmed and automatic. That's where mantras sometimes come in and chants come in. So a chant and a mantra is something repetitive that kind of shifts your whole energy. It shifts the vibration of your cells, and it shifts the way your mind is thinking. So a mantra with something like Shanti, Shanti, peace, 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 is another way. So affirmation is where you're heading and where you're going. A mantra would be if you're too much in your head and you want to shift it. So in the morning, you can actually plant one. Maybe the word is peace or love or kindness, and you plant that, and then it'll keep coming up, and that will be repetitive, which shifts your whole neural pathways to where you're heading, to where you want to be. Right? So chanting is another way to shift your vibrational energy. So chanting, you can find lots of chanting on YouTube videos. I love Krishna Das, but there's many out there. So when you start chanting something, it causes vibrational energy on a cellular level. Because of course we're not just our minds, we're not just our bodies, we're not just our spirit, we're all of those things combined. So if we're in our head too much, of course we're going to hold that in our body somewhere, and then everything is in a holding pattern. So you can't listen to your essence and your soul underneath all that if your body is holding and tense and tight, your breathing is off, your mind is going into repetitive thoughts. How are you going to listen to where your soul's calling you to go, to the essence of who you truly are, to look for those affirmations throughout your day, to look for those seeds that you've planted? So these are the things that are really important to come back. So if you're in fear right now, if you're fear like I can't do the things that I do, and I can't see the people I love, or I can't go to work the way I was working. Come back to your breath. Tune into your body. Ask yourself, am I actually safe in this situation, in this moment, right now? Can I connect to my breath? Can I find a word or an affirmation or a mantra, some chanting to bring myself back? Because we can only act, we can only show up from the place inside of us. So if we're full of fear, then we're going to show up in our life full of fear. And we're going to see fear everywhere because that's our vibrational energy. If we come back to ourself, notice underneath all the clutter of the mind and the body, there's always a sense of peace there. And it might not feel so peaceful sometimes. And it's okay to show up for your feelings, but not to get drawn in and pulled away into a fear mindset, into being so fearful that you can't relax, that you can't enjoy the moments. Super important. So it's not about ignoring how we feel. It's actually about inquiring how you feel. And where do I want to go? Where am I heading? What can I do today? What can I do in this next moment? So that I can shift. So I can stay present in my life and in my body and in my mind. Which emanates everywhere. Because the collective, there's fear, there's love, there's scarcity, there's abundance. It's all out there. And it's all right in front of us. Our energy does not stop with us. So if we can find that within ourselves first, we can find it in places that we look. So I hope you're having an amazing day today. And if you are caught up in a cycle of fear, it's okay. It's okay to feel that, to stay with that, but then come back to yourself. Your beautiful essence never goes anywhere. It's always sitting there waiting. You can connect at any time. And I'll see you again next week.